Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another edition of Three Live Canes. As always, I am Chris. That right there, that's Bill. Pretty sure to be out of name Steve-O. Here to talk to you guys about another week in Miami Hurricanes football. If you're back with us today, if you said, you know what, I got to go back and listen to what those guys are talking about today, it's probably because number one, you were on the negativity bus with us last week, and you're like, I need more of it. I need more of it. Or you suddenly decided to be positive and you're like, maybe the guys turned around and decided to be more positive. Hard to say exactly. But of course, when it's just me and Bill, we're gonna be a little bit negative. Because Bill, he's like a poison. Like he infects you with negativity. But sometimes you're like, we got to bring some positivity to the table. That's when Steve-O comes in decide to bring the sunshine down in our lives and make look at he looks like he's in the middle of the sunshine down there. Look at that, right? And play like right over top of his head. Steve
Yeah,
to bring the sunshine in on top of us. So
yeah, right on time.
honestly, we started a little early. That's my bad, Steve. But here to talk to you guys about this week in Hurricane football. Before we get to all that stuff, Bill, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good. It's a victory Wednesday, and ironically, I'm actually in the heart of Syracuse right now, looking for Fran Brown to taunt him a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised that you haven't been out there. You just look in the streets for him. I mean, he's looking to fight Hurricanes, so this is the opportunity. You go out there and say, "I'm a Canes fan." He'll probably pop out somewhere.
Like what's weird is I haven't seen one Syracuse emblem. If you go, even if you go to Albany, you'll see the University of Albany just stuff everywhere, but nothing around here.
Because I don't think anyone that goes to Syracuse is from Syracuse, or they drive up, they go to school, and they leave when they get. It's like a lot like
4-hour train ride from the city.
Yeah, not ideal. That way I just described is exactly what Fran Brown's going to do as soon as he gets the chance. But Steve, how are we feeling tonight?
I'm big chilling, big vibing. Nice and chilly down here. Well, it's already back in the 60s and low 70s. I think it's 66. It was. I was playing football last night. It was 48, so that was perfect. Nice, just big vibing. Obviously, ugly first half, nice second half. Kind of the same story with Stanford. Team starting off slow, but we get the dub. And it was nice to see it in person. There's been some Fran Brown pro content all season, and then after week 3, it's just been gone. So I love to see that. When Syracuse players commit, they go Fran Brown, and now it ain't looking too good over there. Now it's Syracuse is coming. Shake and play, make a hand, let go, bro, let go. But yeah, I'm big vibing. Anytime you get a win 38-10 at home, I'm cool with that. 28, the spread was 28.5. Somebody put the fix in, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so on a winning week, it's always a lot more positive. Last week was last week, and this week is this week. We'll obviously talk about the Syracuse game, talk about next up, which will be familiar faces from Miami fans. But we got 4 new commitments this week. So, we got a whole bevy of recruits to talk about that we added to the list, including one, a flip from an ACC, I guess, rival at this point, dating back to the old days of the Big East. And, of course, it would be impossible not to talk about this because, considering I think every Miami fan is in the same boat of where we ended up in the playoff rankings and what that means for where we could be and how things are going to go. We'll talk about that a little bit too after a very interesting week of ACC football. So we got a lot to talk about today.
We had a couple commitments since our last show.
Yeah, a lot, a bunch of them. Myriad of them. Got another one today. We're loading up.
Chuck, JJ, a couple guys.
Yeah, so we got a lot of those guys to bring up. We'll show some video footage of those guys too. So a whole bunch of good stuff for you guys here to talk about on a Wednesday night with you.
And the 1 week someone doesn't put Malley touchdown pass, it actually happens.
Damn it. Well, we're gonna give you the I don't know what your prediction was last week, Steve, but we're gonna I don't want to blow the thing, but we predicted something for you. So we'll see what happens. But
let's get it.
3 Live Canes.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Irvin's got it. Irvin's free.
Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, and he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big game.
Hard dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Devin Hester up to the races. That's what they needed.
That's Ricks going up for Thorpe, and it's intercepted near midfield. Sean Taylor's got another one.
Who else?
Boy, TD was another crazy one. Big boy touchdown. There was a lot of, this was really like the time for like crazy things to happen in this game. And I forgot. I think we were so sad that I think we all predicted negative things. But we'll get to that later. Bill forgot the paper anyway, so we'd all take blind guesses and everything too. I guess you could probably go back and look at it, but I'm not doing that. Because Miami ends up in the winning side of the ledger again this week, knocking off Syracuse, which, you know, maybe a year too late, but we did get the win we needed to. You saw Fran Brown trying his absolute best to start a fight with somebody on the Miami sideline, and I don't know how that would exactly help him, but
Him and Mario were barking back and forth on the sideline throughout the game. They showed it on the Jumbotron. Mario was talking ish.
When Fran Brown, they both kind of stepped out off the sideline. I think from that point on, the Miami outscored them like 28-0 or something when they started like really like yelling at each other. Probably that point when it was on the Jumbotron. Not ideal for them. And then there was a weird thing after the game. I don't know if you guys saw, but Fran Brown went up to Michael Irvin. I don't know if you saw that when he was like
shook his hand and then was like, Syracuse is coming.
Yeah, don't get used to this. Like, Michael Irvin was like, I love the fire, but I mean, get the hell out of there, man. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, what else do you want Michael Irvin to say? He probably does love that fire.
I was impressed by Michael Irvin like responding like that and not being like, man, shut up. Get out of here.
I'm not really that surprised. I mean, Michael Irvin's a fiery dude. He probably respects that type of passion. That's just the way that's just the cloth he's cut from. So for us as fans, we're like, yo, this dude, get this man out of here. Who you talking to like that? But Playmaker, oh yeah, wait till next year, buddy. Like that probably got him going. He got Syracuse circled next week. This man Fran Brown talking ish. I'm out there.
He'll be the first man on the sidelines next
year. Yeah, he will be.
First guy out of the tunnel.
Do we play them next year?
I don't even think our schedule will be out.
Because we're going to 9 games, right? Let me see if they just have it. Which
we'll have. Yeah, so I think you alternate. So we probably won't have any West Coast teams. Maybe one since we're going to 9.
So I know we canceled South Carolina. I mean, they have. Let me see.
Lenore Sellers' revenge game off the table, I guess.
I do not want him as quarterback.
Or at least the way it was written.
Let's see if I know good. You don't like Lenore Sellers?
I'm sorry. I have had the very same thing. Remember when I had to like say what I wanted to say out loud about Jakari and then tell you guys how I felt about it? I feel the same thing. I'm sorry. I don't think 10, 12-yard scrambles would make up for massive explosive plays being missed in the air.
I feel like
he's better than Jakari, but I'm just saying it's just that type of I'm away from that type of quarterback. I like dual threat quarterbacks, but I'm looking for the Kyler Murrays of the world, which there's not much of them out there, but someone who could throw, be a 65%, 68% completion guy, and then, be able to get things with his legs.
I think for the past, like the guys that you immediately were like, no, I do not want this guy. I think in every instance we've had, Steve-O, that guy's been a bum the year after. I remember it popped up with yours. It popped up with Arch. It popped up. It's going to happen with Sellers because that's just who he is as a quarterback. But there's been a lot of guys where you were like, nah. And immediately the guy was like, didn't work out. So
yeah, I'm not a guru, but sometimes it just, you just got to trust your gut. I have a real college coaches ask me my opinion about some of these kids, and I'll tell them, and some of them be like, "Yeah, I bet." I was feeling the same way. Some of them try to fix them, and they're hitting me up asking for kids in the portal. So I try to tell them. Yeah, I got a text the other day. They trying to pluck my boy going 200 yesterday. Mactober, baby, or the Mac November going for 200 yards. Now they're trying to pluck my boy. Should have listened the first time.
They look at where they're getting away for the quarterbacks. For a second. Look at where it is right now with Miami. Before we get to the recruiting, all that, knock it off Syracuse, and then things start to go a little haywire in the ACC. Teams that maybe didn't expect to lose suddenly falling off. I mean, where are we right now with the ACC in terms of like overall scope of things? Because even though we're not looking at the chances of Miami winning the ACC is incredibly slim because of where we are in the standings and how many games back we are and who we lost to. But Miami, if I'm not mistaken, is the top-ranked ACC team in the playoff rankings. Am I right? Am I wrong? Like one spot ahead of Georgia Tech. So, like Miami, as weird as it is, seems to be in better position than everybody else about making the playoff. But what does that mean? Like, let's say hypothetically, Miami does win out, right? If Miami wins out, I think I'd be, just to be honest, personally surprised that we don't get snake bitten by somebody else. But let's just hypothetically they do. What do you guys think the chances are that this Miami team would get a playoff spot over, obviously the champ goes over the runner-up for the ACC title game? Is that a possibility? Like, Bill, what do you think about that?
I think if we win out, there's a pretty good chance we're in. Because my whole thing is the whole Notre Dame debacle that the committee faces is they didn't take into account our head-to-head win because they have us so far apart, right? And as that gap's going to get closer, like they can't have Notre Dame 10 and us 12, right? Because that goes against what they're supposed to be doing when factoring in, record, head-to-head matchup, resume. Our resume is better than theirs. So I think as we get closer to Notre Dame, we'll eventually have to leapfrog them. And 10-2, I think, will get us there, provided the teams in between us lose those games. Like Texas, Oklahoma both have big games that they're going to be underdogs in this week. That those are massive games. If they lose, they'll drop below us. That's 2 spots up for us. ACC wise, I don't know how the tiebreakers. I don't think we really have much of a shot at getting in. I think a lot has to happen.
I think that's dead. We need SMU to lose like 2 out of 3 games. We need Pitt to beat. I forget, but we need like 3 teams to lose. Like one team to lose 1 game, 3, and like 2 other teams to lose 2 games out of 3. It's probably not going to happen. At large is our best chance to get in the playoffs.
Do I think we went out? I would bet against that at this point, just based on everything that we've seen the last 3 to 4 weeks. But if we do end up 10-2, I would be pounding the table for us to get in. But I'm not quite ready to get that emotional about making a case for us until I see it.
Some of the other things going on. I forget who Texas and Oklahoma are playing. Is Oklahoma playing Alabama this week?
Oklahoma's facing Bama. Texas is Georgia.
Texas, Georgia. Sorry. So, those 2 big opportunities, obviously. Like, Georgia loses. Who knows? But they're still pretty high up there. But we'll go ahead, Steve. What do you got?
Yeah, I low-key like, obviously, Bama, but I low-key like Texas in that game versus Georgia. I don't really think they're that good. Texas isn't good either, but I'm just not high on Georgia, but we need Texas to lose.
Mm-hmm.
BYU has the rest of the way. TCU, Cincinnati. So that's at Cincinnati, and then finish up with UCF, Utah. Who, really looking at their schedule, it's garbage.
I think Utah's in, because Utah probably will win out. They already lost their big games. There's nothing left. They
lost both of their biggest games. They beat Cincy. They beat a Arizona State team was still out of sorts. Now
without
they
the
got Baylor.
quarterback.
Yeah, they got Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas left.
Yeah,
Big 12 can be crazy though.
Yeah, just like the ACC. People love parity until you start pointing out the SEC stuff.
Yeah. Honestly,
They literally Mac Rhodes, one of the guys from the committee, were just like they're clowning the ACC, saying they only have one signature win, Miami versus Notre Dame, and it's just like why can't the words come out of your mouth that Florida State, one of the worst teams in our conference, beat Bama, the best team in your conference? Like why can't you just say? I mean, second best because Texas A&M is technically the best. But why can't you all just say that? Like they have to protect the SEC so bad. Like you can't say it's not week. You can't say it's week one because you're counting our Notre Dame win, which was week one. I mean, Jesus, bro, the propaganda is so annoying.
And part of the committee's, I guess, criteria is that when you lose doesn't matter. Like that shouldn't be factored in. So whether you go 11-1 or 10-2 with your losses wherever, it shouldn't matter because it's just the total resume of who you beat, who you lost to, head to head. So that's why I think as we get inch up closer in those rankings, that's when we'll kind of almost slingshot at some point above them. But if they lose, I can see the committee be like, well, their best win isn't that great anymore. We're going to, hold Miami solid or even potentially even drop them behind like a 9-3 SEC team. So I know a lot of people are saying we want Notre Dame to lose. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for us because that is our signature win. That's our only signature win. So
yeah, and
it's
where would they?
Terrible situation to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I would say best case scenario, Texas, Oklahoma both lose. Gotta get to 11. Vandy is their most difficult game left is Tennessee, and honestly, like
I like Vandy over Tennessee. Wow.
Vanderbilt didn't really beat. They beat. I think their claim to fame is they beat Missouri, right?
No, they won a lot of games. They only lost to Bama.
They beat LSU, which now that loss doesn't look good. I mean, that win doesn't look good.
Yeah.
They lost to Bama.
Missouri's
they
good.
beat Missouri.
They beat South Carolina.
South Carolina. Well, the preseason ranked 12 South Carolina.
Yeah, they were 11 when they beat them.
I don't think they have a top 25 win. If I'm
Vandy, because LSU was top 25 when they beat them, and then so was South Carolina.
And Missouri dropped. They all dropped out though. So
yeah,
Missouri's out. Yeah.
So we should. We should be above Vandy right now based on just pure resume. But SEC, so
yeah, that and their quarterback's like gamer. I ain't gonna lie, I like Pavia.
Yeah, I think Tennessee will get them, but
so what we need 4. So Texas, Oklahoma, BYU, Utah, Vandy. I don't think it's not coming from anyone above that because they'll all get in, even if like one of those teams lose. So
yeah, some of those teams are going to lose in their conference championship, and they're in anyway.
Yeah. All right, so you got 5 teams. You need 4 of them to lose, and then you have to hope that like Georgia Tech sitting behind us at 8-1. Like, who's to say they won't? I mean, I guess Georgia Tech would have to lose an ACC title game, and then have them say no, they deserve it because they're 10-2, or whatever it'll be, 11-2.
I mean, I think whoever makes it to the ACC championship game is in, and I think we're fighting to be the third at-large bid from the conference. That's the media wars going on right now, because if the ACC gets 3, that's one less spot going to the SEC or Big Ten, respectively. It's most likely the SEC. The Big Ten's really not in a factor right now for the playoff race. If Penn State would have been, good. Right now, it's Big Ten's a 2-team playoff, Oregon and Ohio State. Technically 3 because I missed Indiana. So that'll be their 3. The ACC would have their 2 and then plus a 3. So that's already 6. Then you have a G5, that's 7. So now, the SEC is going to try to, get 5 spots.
Well, what did the guy say? Sankey said they deserve 8 spots. Did you see that?
No, that was fake. It was fake.
Was it fake? Oh,
yeah, it was a fake quote. But everybody would believe it.
Oh, yeah, I 100% believed it. I was like, yeah, that sounds like somebody would say.
And with USF being ranked, we now have 2 top 25 wins as well. So our resume actually looks very good, minus the bad losses. But
at least Louisville is still ranked.
Yeah, we have a ranked loss. Yeah, I mean, the Vanderbilt ahead of us. I think that's the pure SEC bias. Everyone else, I think you can probably make a really good case for at this point. But once kind of the last 3 weeks here, teams are going to play each other. I think there's a very, very good chance we get in if we run the table and take care of business.
My concern, to what you said, Steve, if we're the third ACC team, that's where I think it gets real dicey, because you got one spot reserved for
the champion.
Yeah, the champion goes, and then the other spot, if he get in above us, because we'd have to get to what? I mean, I was thinking we could get to 11, but then we got to get to 10.
I mean, I don't think both ACC championship teams will be ahead of us. So if this team is 15th, that makes it. They're not going to make it if they lose. So I mean, I don't. The committee will. There's no way we'll get 3 ACC teams, and there's absolutely no way. So I think you probably want Georgia Tech to lose to Georgia, because that'll at least drop them prior to the ACC championship game. And then if they lose that, then there's hey, we're not penalizing them because they weren't even in to begin with. So it's just all just nonsense. Kind of what how this all breaks down.
Well, I guess we're also pretty seriously rooting for Texas Tech to just straight up win the Big 12 then, right? Because then they're already ranked at 6. So then we only need to get to 12.
Yeah.
All right. That's something I forgot, that Texas Tech was already above us. So 10,
yeah, pretty much 10 through 14 we want to lose, and then obviously anyone behind us, just so that they don't creep on. So we're I hate that I have to root for teams that I hate, but it is what it is.
I mean, whatever. If it gets us to the kind of almost promised land. South Carolina. USC ain't going anywhere. Michigan, they're not beating Ohio State. So if they're out of there.
We said that last year.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, now really they're not beating them. I know it's easy to say. It's been 9,000 days or whatever stupid number they always put up, events. That's it, right? Okay. So I mean, there's 9. Looks like there's 9 locks out there right now, and then it's playing around with the rest of those teams: Texas, Oklahoma, BYU, Utah, Vandy, Miami, Georgia Tech, then playing around behind
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Notre Dame's in my lock group. I think everyone in the top 9 is in, unless Texas Tech goes crazy and loses loses 2 the rest of the way, which I guess is possible. But Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, and then hypothetically Texas Tech or whoever wins the Big 12. Because if Texas Tech loses 2, if they lose in the regular season and they lose the Big 12 title game, then they're out, I would assume.
Yeah. I don't think they could drop a game before the title game. They lose that conference game, they're going to say, hey, we're not going to hold it against them. But if they drop one right before, that's where it gets dicey.
Yeah, and if they lose a game and they get to the Big 12 title game and lose, actually, let's look at the Big 12 standings, because who knows? Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't make it.
I think if Texas Tech loses in the next, how much games they got? 2 games left. I think they would fall behind a bunch of the 2 lost teams. And I think that just the committee would be kind of protecting themselves.
Well, if they are right now, oh man, this is another.
Yeah, their only losses without their quarterback, so I know that's why they're ranked still real high.
Yeah,
the committee said that, which is true, but.
And you need a degree in quantum physics to figure out the tiebreakers in these mega conferences.
Yeah, because if they lose, then there's 2 teams. Well, I mean, where does Texas Tech play? What the hell? We're in it now. We're in this now. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole, man.
I'm already regretting all of my decisions I made so far.
I said we say F it and we'll move on and pray week by week. We'll see.
Real quick. If Texas Tech has UCF and West Virginia left, UCF and West Virginia are out of the race entirely in both regards. So they will likely win. They're both bad. But if they do lose one, then you have Texas Tech with 2 losses, Houston with 2 losses, Utah with 2 losses, Arizona State with 2 losses. You have BYU and Cincy both with 1. BYU plays Cincy. So one of those 2 would get knocked out automatically. So there would be a 6-2 team. It would probably be Texas Tech at that point, because you'd have 18 teams with 2 losses. So let's just say hypothetically be Texas Tech. So then the BYU Texas Tech loser, or the BYU/Cincy versus Texas Tech loser would be out. Texas Tech would, and then the winner would be it. All right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If BYU just beats them in the Big 12 championship, then it's bad news.
Oh, yeah.
Though they might drop Texas Tech all the way out.
Well, yeah, highest rated conference champion. So if BYU's going to be ranked. So if they win that title game, they're in.
Right. We would like very much for that not to happen. So we're going to be
they got
actively rooting against
number
the Mormons.
47. I don't think they want to put that out there for the world to see.
Yeah. I will be rooting against the Mormons more than I've ever have in my life. That happens.
Start sending some. Never mind. That's probably not the best thing to say on air. Start sending some honeys over there. Next thing you know, guys are ineligible.
Hey, whatever we got to do. Where's the Big 12 title game?
Yeah, where the Cavender twins at?
Probably a jerry roll, I would think.
Probably jerry roll, right?
Yeah. Either one. They probably at the, because since this NFL season's still going, it probably would be at the original Jerry World.
Oh,
I forget what the stadium's called, but they play like the state championships in Texas there. It's the old Cowboy Stadium.
Oh, Cotton Bowl?
Is that the Cotton Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. I think they blew up the old Jerry World.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I could be wrong.
I remember Elijah Arroyo was a kid. I remember Elijah Arroyo and a couple other guys. Actually, no, 2 years ago. I mean, they must have recently did it if they did it. But yeah.
All right, so I think all of this together, I think it comes down to the idea that Miami needs to win 3 games in a row. Like we could absolutely agree on that. And no, Arlington. Oh, AT&T Stadium. Yeah, it is AT&T Stadium. All right. So they had to win a bunch of games. They can't lose anymore. If they do, then we are obviously screwed. If they win all 3, then we may make it, or we may at the same time get screwed. So keep it simple for the fans out there. But I mean, at least you have some positive things to hold on to, right? Because you never know.
4 flips. We a lot of positive going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got Miami pulling in recruits left and right. We'll start rattling off some of these guys. But a bunch of different guys, a lot of defensive talent. Miami was able to secure in a matter of just a couple of days. We'll start with the corner, J.J. Dunnigan, a guy who joins us from Manhattan, Kansas, but is a guy that, far outplays the whatever you might think about a dude coming in from Manhattan, Kansas. So he's definitely going to be above and beyond what you see. Steve, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on J.J. Dunnigan when we pop up the video for him?
Yeah, I think he's going to play safety at Miami. Good length, great speed, striking power. He's a guy who hits, wraps up, just plays football the right way. Has been a top guy. He's had all these schools trying to flip him. Just look at that length and size. Just like he's big time. His first play here, I remember seeing it. And I was wondering, I was like, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? Because they didn't have the little circle here to the end. So I thought he was going to go down there and like kill somebody. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's returning it. So yeah, great speed, great ability, great agility. You'll get to his next play coming up here. I think he has 2 or 3 kick return touchdowns. So I don't think they're all in the front though. However, just great striking power, great athleticism, excellent frame. So yeah, this is man coverage and a tight end in the slot. This is exactly why we're bringing him in a safety position, because he's going to give you those big, matchups. He has great size, great length, and then he can play man coverage. So at safety, he's going to be fitting perfect in the slot. He's going to fit perfect over the top, great range, but he's going to tackle in the hole one-on-one. I think the biggest upgrade in our defense has been the safety tackling. So you'll have Poyser just making plays in the hole, Jacoby Thomas making plays in the hole. These are plays that we saw go for touchdowns last year when our safeties were stepping up.
Yep.
So that's the difference between this defense and last year's is, we get to live to fight another down. 8-10-yard plays don't turn into 50, 60, 70-yard touchdowns because we miss an open field tackle in the alley. So I definitely think he has great athleticism. So we're adding a guy with great size, speed, striking ability, and just overall talent. That's not something you're seeing from the Madison, Kansas area all the time. However, when they come out of it, he's a guy who's competed against the top of the country in the 7-on-7 circuit and the Under Armour All-American game with the pick. Like he's played. He's a player. So I think when it comes down to this type of recruit, I remember a lot of Canes fans really didn't know we were heating up on him until like a week or so ago. However, they've been on him, man. He's a big time guy. There's a couple schools trying to flip him for a long time.
Bill, thoughts and Dunnigan?
Yeah, I was going to bring up, the competition. You can question the competition, but what he did at the Under Armour game, like Steve-O was saying, where held his own in practice, played well in the game. That kind of validates what you see, watching these highlights, right? A big, 6'2", 180, 190 type, athlete. It's kind of a weird recruitment. He's a Kansas State legacy, but was committed to Kansas, and now is, committed to Miami. The rich history of Kansas, athletes at Miami with Arthur Brown, who transferred out, and then, Bryce Brown, who never quite made it. But I think this defensive back class is shaping up to be very, very, very good. And that was kind of a position we've been talking about for 3 or 5 years now. We just need those dudes. And he, kind of fits in with all the other guys we brought in. And especially at a position of need, being, he's going to be at safety, kind of a position we haven't really done all that well at. We hit on, Bryce Fitzgerald. We have some guys that we're hoping to develop, but the entire defensive backfield has been an issue recruiting going back, and it looks like it's, taking a very large step in the right direction.
Yeah, especially bringing in a guy like this where like you easily projectable skill set and size to what you want. And I think Steve-O said it before. You see it with how different the defense looks. Obviously, there's a lot of things that went into it, but just getting some of those playmakers in the secondary, guys that aren't afraid to go up and make plays. Like, who would have ever thought back in the beginning of the year that, I think Keontae Scott might miss a game, might be hurt, is like devastating news for everyone in the Miami fan base because of how good he's been. And Jacoby Thomas has been excellent. And I remember I was talking about the need to get transfer safeties and guys that could just hit. That was the big conversation when Poyser was coming in. So definitely a projectable guy and a guy that, fits a mold that NFL teams like. This is the kind of guy that could develop. And like you said, maybe we missed on some, but having Bryce now in there and immediately stepping in, paying dividends as a player, I think getting a guy that could go play next to him, maybe a guy that can come up and Bryce be able to play center field and, dude that's not afraid to cover guys out of the slot, all those kinds of different pieces together. But that's a secondary that you could say going forward for the next several years is going to be really, really good, especially with all the talent that we have consistently brought in at corner. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I this is a great pickup. You gotta understand when you pick up a top 100 kid, the type of, because this is where these rankings coming off of, body frame. They not breaking down tape. I'll tell you right now, they might look at it, but the body frame, the height, the size, the speed, athleticism. So it's on the coaching staff to develop him. So how he pans out is going to be on his own work ethic and then the development from our staff. I think Coach Harris is an excellent safety coach. I've heard nothing but great things about him from every stop he's been in. I've done a bunch of homework on him. I've talked to plenty of players that he's coached. I've talked to guys from UF that said, hey, This guy made sure we were all on the same page. We knew what was coming before the play snapped. And it's just because people forget such a big part of being a college coach is teaching your players how to watch film. They like it's not just like how we watch film, you know, how a guy we sit there and watch the game like, oh, okay. No, bro, they're breaking down, they're zooming in on every single player, looking for tendencies over courses of the over the entire year, even dating back. There's never enough film to watch. So him teaching his players, like Thomas and Poyser have been in the right position at the right time. Bryce Fitzgerald, natural God-given instincts for sure, but been in the right place at the right time. Players are just in the right place at the right time. Even when we're giving up a 7-yard, 8-yard play, even a 10-yard play, that we're in the right place to come up and make that tackle and just boom, live to fight another down. So I think Coach Harris's ability to develop the mental aspect of playing the safety position, which once you're out of position as a safety, you're giving up a big play. So us being consistently in the right place so quickly after last year being consistently in the wrong place or like consistently on someone's highlight tape, I think it's been a blessing. So you get a guy with that type of talent, let him mold. Does he have an immediate impact or not? Who knows? We'll never know until we start hearing camp nuggets, but get him in the room for sure.
And I mean, what a great note is your role, Steve-O. Brock Berlin making his way to the chat. Definitely Brock Berlin. What a great photo. Making his way into the chat. Look at that. It's inspired enough to bless the chat. Thank you very much, Brock Berlin. We appreciate you. As always, after our weekly Brock Berlin versus this guy, and then Steve-O routinely picks random people over the greatness of Brock Berlin. Very frustrating. But real quick on New King, we would not be the 4 seed just for winning the ACC championship game. Like they changed that up, so it's still the top 4 seeds get the 4. So we'd still be down there, somewhere at the bottom, without a home playoff game. So it wouldn't be that hypothetical doesn't quite work out with where it is. But what hypothetical did work out is what would Miami do if they got DeAnthony Lafayette? That's a hypothetical we could talk about for sure, because another guy to add to the mix here. Bill, I'll start with you first. DeAnthony Lafayette definitely fits a physical profile that seems pretty familiar to what guys we've gotten in recent years.
Yeah, kind of like we were just talking about how Dunnigan is kind of the prototype. DeAnthony Lafayette is not that in terms of a size. From a size aspect, but what he does have is really good athletic profile, quickness. He's super productive, something like 30 something sacks or whatever that is, and he's a guy that kind of breaks. He's the exception to the rule, right? Do you want a class full of kind of undersized defensive linemen? No, but you would bet on kind of just that initial burst. We've seen plenty of guys, be successful both, at Miami, and even into the pros, like a guy like, Dwight Freeney was, undersized. Trent Harris here, was on the smaller side, and, he led, one of our better defenses in recent memory in sacks. So, really good, just athleticism, burst, once he kind of gets, that teaching from Jason Taylor. I think he's a guy that's going to be very disruptive, and that's what Heatherman wants.
And offset some of the height things. He's got long arms too, which
6'8" wingspan.
Yeah, so you could tell that's one of those things where maybe the height is in there, but if you can't, the tackles can't get their hands on him, he's gonna have the ability to make some plays. And the guy like Dwight Freeney, he was built that same way. Again, incredibly long arms to help fight off those tackles. But go ahead, Steve. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we all know he was an LSU commit, and it's kind of like a free for all. Who's trying to flip those guys? If they're not from Louisiana, they're probably getting flipped. It's hard to flip those guys from Louisiana. They're probably the most loyal kids in the country, to be honest with you. Maybe Georgia for Georgia kids, but definitely going to be hard to flip them. So if you got a blue chipper in Orlando, why the hell are we going to let him just stay committed to LSU? They've been working this for a while. Explosive get off, very explosive. 6'1", yeah, but he's 17 years old. He's probably going to grow a little bit. You guys got to understand, he's probably going to be 6'2", 6'3". Here, he's 17 years old, so plenty of time to grow. However, even if he doesn't, the athletic profile is there. If Coach Jason, there's big fish that we're going after at DN. I'm pretty sure everybody knows. However, if Coach Jason Taylor said, doesn't matter who we circle around and get, I want this guy. Who the hell are we to argue with that? I mean, the production has been there from our defensive ends under Coach Taylor. He's been a great recruiter. I mean, I think it's fair to say that he's earned his right to reach on a 4-star prospect. like the guy's production is there. I like everything about his first. Like usually you have guys with a first quick step or a quick first step. This guy has quick like 5 steps. Like, he could probably legit run a 4.640 at 240 pounds. So that type of speed and athleticism, whether they use him more as like a tweener where he could drop back, play a little flat. He could, cover out routes out of the backfield, things like that, because he's definitely in his wheelhouse. He's more athletic than the type of DNs that you would normally see. But I'm all in on him, to be honest with you. We've been going after him for a while. This was before Coach Brian Kelly got, terminated at LSU. We've been working this flip. I'm with Coach Taylor on his evals. I don't really question it. If he says this guy can rush the passer, then shit, he could probably rush the passer.
Very reasonable. And getting a guy again, like adding to the talent on the defensive line group is never going to be a negative thing. You just said, like, maybe bring in some other bigger fish that everybody's looking at, but certainly get a guy who could absolutely contribute. And, we talk about that 2017, 2018 group fondly. The more years go past, the more you realize being able to throw pass rusher after pass rusher after pass rusher at offenses, there's no downgrade to that. There's no downside to it. Like, even just getting Lightfoot out there, the ability to add another dude out there to get Blunt and Lightfoot and like interior and outside edge rushers or pass rushers, I should say, like adds a lot to this defense this year. Let's see what we got.
And think about with the conference we play in. We play in the ACC, bro. Now, there's undersized pass rushers getting 10+ sacks every year in this league, and it's because we don't have the same build as the SEC or Big Ten teams. We don't play that heavy. We play a faster game. We play more undersized talent. We play this, we play that. Those type of dudes make plays, dog.
Sergio Sanchez saying he's on the 100-meter team at his high school.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's moving. He got some juice for sure. Like he got some quick. I'm telling you, he's quick. He can run down. If you're running zone reads, he's the type of guy who could maybe crash a little bit on that running back and still get out to the edge when that quarterback. He can make a quarterback's right decision or wrong decision. That's the type of athleticism he has at the edge, which is not for nothing something we need because we've been spoiled. We have Ruben Bain and Mesidor, but guess what? They're both gone after this year. So throw as much bodies and blue chip talent at the end position until one of them hits, because we're losing a top pick. And I don't know where Mezzi's gonna fall or go since he has some injury history, and they like to bring that stuff up like right before draft. But we're gonna be replacing both of them.
Yep. Well, another step toward replacing both of them would be Isaac Chukwara. Another flip. This one from Penn State. And personally, any opportunity to take a player from Penn State is always something that I greatly enjoy because screw 'em, quite honestly. So Miami pulling in another defensive lineman. And Steve, I'll go to you first in this one because you seemed excited to talk about old Chucky, right?
Yeah, I like Chuck. It's just if you get fired in the middle of the season, Mario gonna flip somebody. You get fired, Mario coming. He coming for that class. However, I like Chuck. I like big nasty guys. So he's one of those. He's not a pretty guy trying to get stats. He's one of those who back in the day would have had the duck face mask and just been going crazy. Like Chuck is on that when it comes to physicality. You see his tape right here. I think he's going to be an explosive 3-tech for us. He slashes. He's physical. He can play between hash to hash. So that's something that you really value at a defensive lineman, having that ability to make quick plays, have quick feet, especially in that tackle box. That's how you get TFLs from backside in the run game. That's how you make quarterbacks throw interceptions before they're ready to throw it. That quickness inside the tackle box is going to be elite for Chuck. I think he's going to be a D tackle for us. However, I love this tape. He's nasty. He's dirty. I like that type of tape. I think he probably puts on a little bit of weight and kicks inside, maybe as a tweener. However, I'm with the way he plays football.
Right, and not the first D tackle tweener that ended up on the inside as a pass rusher from the state of Delaware for the Miami Hurricanes. Can I have you guys name who that was? I believe he was the number one player in the country, or like number one player in Delaware, obviously, but like top 10 player in the country maybe when we got him.
It's not John Square, is it?
Not John Square. The player ended up playing defensive tackle for us. We're talking full on 20 years ago.
Orion Harris.
Yep. Orion Harris. It's honestly very similar player profile to what we got in Chuck, right? Very similar player profile. Guy that came in more as like a versatile player, like he played a little bit on the end when Orion got here, and then stuck and eventually found stardom as a defensive tackle. So yeah, very, very similar. That's what Delaware produces, I guess. Every 20 years or so, they pop out like a really, really good DN/ guy for the Miami Hurricanes. Which take it.
Doesn't mean as much as we hate Penn State for a plethora of reasons here. Their defensive line evals have been on point. Pretty much for a while now, taking 3- and 4-star guys and getting 5-star production out of them. Anyone can be Bama, Georgia, get all the 5 stars and have good D lines, but Penn State just has a knack for finding guys that can be very, very productive at the college level, right? And with all the firings going on, like we just talked about with LSU, Penn State, it opens the door for us to kind of get in on that and maybe let them do the dirty work for us, kind of reap the benefits of that.
Yeah, certainly. And like Steve said, like any opportunity to take advantage of guys getting fired like a month before signing day is always something that you can easily take advantage of. And Penn State, like you said, it's got some good players. So Isaac Chikwara, another good addition to the squad. And that, of course, brings us to the final commit. And from one of the great states for producing talent across our great nation, they went all the way up to the state of New Jersey to pull out Logan Nagel. Not as great of a name as Isaac Chikwara, Logan Nagel, but also a guy that plays defensive tackle and based upon some of the tape, sometimes goes no gloves. But that all right, we got Orion Harris. Now we go ahead and get Matt Walters. add him to the mix. So, Bill, go to you first on old Logan Nagel from your home state here in New Jersey. Just on a little bit of the south section of it.
I mean, I feel like it's been a struggle to get New Jersey involved, with Miami, and I'm here for all of the white defensive tackle comparisons. But kid from North Jersey plays at DePaul Catholic, one of those parochial schools where St. Peter's Prep, Bosco, they're just really good, well coached programs. And I think as you watch Nagel, you kind of you see that, right? You see the technique. Again, speaking of teams that have done really well with evals on the defensive line, Pitt, right? They really do well with those 3 stars that just turn out to be just monsters, at the college level in a couple of years. So I think that's what we're hoping for here. But it's a New Jersey commit. Whatever the Matt Walters comps, I'm here for. But again, we're just really just taking these evals, and the roster expansion I think is allowing us to take some of these chances as well. So we're no longer confined to the 25-man classes or the 85 limit. So you take chances, see what happens in 2 to 3 years, and if that prevents you from having to go spend in the portal, you can allocate those resources elsewhere.
For sure. Steve, thoughts on Logan Nagel?
Yeah, I mean, we're still going after big fish, but when you get a bunch of big fish, defensive linemen, class after class, I mean, you have to have some guys ready for when the transition comes. And, you think of a guy like Ahmad Moten, who was ready for the transition when it came to it. And then he's balling as an upperclassman. So when you look at these guys, you have to think what type of player they're going to be in 2 years. I think when you have players like Nagel, they just play the game the type of way that I think Coach Mario respects. When you play it, tough nose, hardcore football, obviously we know that's what he wants. But that's probably his biggest check mark on some of these things. Checkbox, hey, physicality, tone setter, things like that, hard worker, motor. Like these are all things that it doesn't
Coach
matter
on the field.
Yeah, that type of guy. But I ain't gonna say that because that's how they talk about white receivers. But like this is the type of mold that you expect the Coach Mario guy. And let's be real, Pitt is a baller. Partridge, his D line is always top in the nation, and they don't get 4 stars, they don't get 5 stars, they get undersized guys. When I was talking about undersized guys rule the ACC on the edge, Pitt's the story for that. Like they're the poster child for that. They have guys going NFL second round, third round that were regular 3 stars coming out of high school. So I like guys like this, and if they can keep that athleticism as they bulk up, because obviously he's gonna have to put a little bit of weight on, especially if he's gonna be on the interior. I'm more than cool with that. I think he has some really good hands. So that goes to what Bill was saying. His coaching up there is really good. I think that's kind of one of the things, like there's a lot of D tackles that rely on their strength, their quickness. There's a lot of D tackles have that one thing that they really rely on. It's hard to find D tackles with pass rush tools and arsenals that they can use their hands different way. They're push pulling, they're slap ripping, they got real good technique. So I think if you can get a guy with real good technique and you're going to continue to drill technique in him every single day, if you could beef him up, I think that's going to be great for you, because a lot of guys, even though they're high recruits, they're one-trick ponies at D tackle. I mean, I think Justin Scott showed so much growth with his hands that you're seeing him get in the backfield. He's disengaging from offensive linemen. These last few games from Justin Scott, you're like, oh, yeah, he looks great. But a lot of that is because his technique. So if you get a guy with really good technique off the rip, and now we're just focused on his strength and conditioning, I could totally see why we flip him.
And definitely someone that, like you said, long-term projections, those have worked out pretty well for us when it comes to defensive tackle position. Finding guys reminds me of a young Mike Golick. That's obviously hilarious. Fresh says we need Will Fork DT with speed.
They don't come Will Forks with me.
I mean, you don't find Vince Wilforks very many places. Leon Washington knows how fast Vince Wilfork was.
The closest thing is probably Ndamukong Suh, and that's a once a lifetime type player.
Yeah, those are not easy to come by. Not easy to come by. But anyway, so like Miami doing their best to load up and get some guys, like find some guys that they know that can contribute long term, and like Steve said before about Ahmad Moten and those guys, like long term projectable defensive tackles that we think can step in when we maybe aren't finding like the transfer portal, or maybe not needing to go to the portal for certain guys, like certainly working out for us with the higher end guys, but also with some of those guys that were like in that mid range that we obviously saw potential into. So continue to add depth, continue to add. I mean, there were days when we were looked at the defensive tackle room, and we were like, I don't know, we're not really deep here. We're scary, lacking in depth. And these are guys that you're going to bring in that they will add some quality depth to the program over the course of the next couple of years. Now we've been rolling through those, like obviously, like we're already at 10 o'clock, so get to NC State here. Our next opponent playing them 3:30 on Saturday, and NC State is a team that they've had their own up and down season because they have it's kind of the nature of it, how it is in the ACC. But I mean, beating Georgia Tech on November 1st, obviously a huge win for them, and kind of set the tone for what they want to do. And they're led by a quarterback that we know pretty well. Steve, what are your thoughts on NC State and what Miami needs to do to take them down?
They're a well-coached football team. Obviously, CJ's from down here. He played 7-on-7 with us for a tournament or two. Really high, like intellect kid. He's smart. He's not going to make the same mistake twice. And he had that freshman year starting towards the end where he got to get a lot of those mistakes out the way. He's a cerebral kid. I like his energy. To be honest, his energy is infectious. Even when things weren't going well during the tournament, he kept the mood up. Like, just a kid who's always smiling, has a great energy about him. So I think people play better for him. I think that's one of the more underrated aspects of a quarterback. A lot of people get, so caught up in the physical aspects, but like if you could raise the level of play of everybody around you, that's probably one of the best things about a quarterback. That's what NFL quarterbacks get paid the most money for, is because elevating people around them. So I think that's going to be a thing. He's going to be excited to play us. Obviously, I see Canes fans saying, we offered him, he didn't come. Bro, come on, that was BS. We offered him because we wanted JJ to come. We offered him a month before signing day. He's been in our backyard for 4 years as a starter. Like, we did not want him. And so he's going to have that motivation. And I'm happy to see it. I like kids with chips on their shoulder. Obviously, I'm not hoping it doesn't go his way Saturday, but I expect him to come out slinging. He has good accuracy on the deep ball. He's mobile. Those are the type of quarterbacks that hurt us. He's mobile. He can throw on the run. He's not one of those guys who breaks containment and he has to run. He's going to throw it when he breaks containment. If he has 5 yards in front of him, he's looking for 20 downfield. Really happy they don't have Concepcion over there at NC State because that would have been tough with Keontae Scott being out. Oof, that would have been tough. So I'm very happy he doesn't have the best receiving core. I think we've been doing last game or two dime packages. We put Lucas in the slot with Damari O'Connor out there, and then Taylor at Mike linebacker or sub linebacker. So I think Taylor is going to probably get some burn, but they'll probably keep Lucas starting at slot. We'll see how they do that. Bobby Pruitt has also been getting more snaps as the season goes. He's definitely shown us a lot of flashes blitzing off the edge, so I expect his snaps to go up if Keontae Scott is indeed out, which is pretty much a lock right now for this point. But I expect CJ Bailey to come out and try to prove a point. You're in front of your family. All his family and friends are going to be in that stadium. This is the school that you wanted to go to your whole life that didn't really have any traction with you until late in your cycle. Now you're at a rival team not a rival, but a team in the same conference looking to damper their season and straight put the dagger in their playoff hopes and ACC championship hopes. To be real, any loss just kills both of them. So he'll be highly motivated, and I'm pretty sure the people know how much of a game this is for him. So they'll probably be playing really hard for him. That's just one of those underrated things. I would not be surprised if someone on NC State plays their best game versus us, because he's going to elevate them.
For sure. And he's had moments this year. Like, obviously there were games like Notre Dame where he didn't play well, threw a bunch of picks, but there were also games like when they played Georgia Tech where he straight up outdueled Haynes King, who everyone was like, oh, Haynes King is this resurgent year. He's been this, he's been that. And he went out there, I think it was like 24-30 or something for multiple touchdowns, and just looked like a superstar. Looked like a legitimate top-end guy in like the nation. So if it's that guy, it's going to be a tough road for Miami. If it's the guy against Notre Dame, not as much, but it's more likely than not he's going to go out there and play his best against the Canes. Bill, thoughts?
Yeah, almost you can pretty much copy and paste what I said about SMU prior to that game. This game scares me for a couple of reasons. One, Steve-O covered is the CJ Bailey aspect. They can put up points. They're also well coached. While we are a double-digit favorite, that seems to not matter. It's 15 and a half. I just looked on DraftKings.
Wish it was 9.5.
I wish it was 9.5 too. But teams that have the potential to score points, have a good chance at beating us because our offense just hasn't been able to keep up. Especially if we have another slow start and we get down. Kind of get off rhythm. We have guys out. Keontae Scott is out. That is a monumental loss. To the defense. Just he's a talented player, but just the energy. Intensity he brings.
He makes some tackles out of the slot where you're like, I don't think we've had a guy that could make those tackles like the plays he made in a long time. Like plays were just like before this could be nope, Keontae. Like bang, right there, got it. Like that kind of playmaking of the slot position. Elite.
And I don't know who's gonna take that rollover. There's different options, but Keontae Scott, Jacoby Thomas, they bring it on defense, and to lose one of those guys, or potentially lose one of those guys, I don't know if it's been like confirmed. We'll see when the injury report comes out, but it is not a good sign. And just them being well coached, we have a tendency to shoot ourselves in the foot. It's just adding up, and I don't know if you remember my prediction back in August. This was one of the L's that I had.
I try not to remember the predictions. Makes me sad. But
Start dropping out predictions in the chat, y'all boys, because we'll be
throw
picking
them in there.
some.
Throw them in there. So Bill forgot his prediction sheet. He's up in Bumbles, New York. But we can confirm that Bill and I both last week predicted something that was probably kind of close. I don't know, because we were both real sad. And then we assume that you, Steve-O, Bill made a great point before that you probably would have predicted a blowout because you're Steve-O. So we're giving you the win on this one, Steve-O.
Y'all weren't predicting a blowout. They're starting they're in between the left cheek and the right cheek. They know which cheek to pick for quarterback. They're gonna be buns regardless.
We were real sad last week, Steve-O.
Yeah, that was a rough show. I think we both predicted like 3 to 6 point wins.
It was real bad. It was real bad, Steve-O.
It's 100% on me. I had it in my mind to text you the next day and be like, hey, give me your prediction, and crazy prediction, but I forgot. So that's on me. I need to be better. I'll get better. Got to get back to work.
Coach Talk Bill, yeah.
So we were in agreement before the show. I was like, let's just give it to Steve-O because he would have predicted something like 56-10 or something like that, and that would have easily won last week.
I think that's fair. So congratulations, Steve-O.
I'll take it. Just from always shooting high, man. You never know what's going to benefit you.
That's right. I don't remember what the crazy predictions were.
I know I had 5 or less penalties. We had 6. So
damn.
I remember I did something that was real stupid too, like something like real corny. Like I don't know.
You had a 4.0 yards per carry, but we were 3.9.
Ah, damn it.
I remember listening to a podcast and they said 3.9. I was like, I'm pretty sure Chris had 4.
Damn it. And I went back over all things, average 4 yards a carry. And it was we were right on 4 yards a carry, 3 times this season already, 4.0. Damn. What almost a dream come true. I don't know if there's any other ones. Yeah, Gary Furman had his magical run. He was right. Down to halftime versus Louisville. He was right going into that one. I'm going to have to go before. I know we're not even close to it yet, but for crazy prediction, I'm definitely going to do Brock Berlin's prediction that Beck throws for 5 touchdowns like he did against NC State. 100% we're going Brock Berlin.
You can't change your YouTube name. Whoever you are, fam, you got to be Brock Berlin next week.
So you're Brock Berlin forever. I have a theory. I have a theory as to who it is, but just gonna let it ride. It's a great job. I believe it. My theory is that it's Brock Berlin. That is my theory. Because you already told us that. I mean, Roscoe Parrish and Sonoris Moss were his groomsmen. I mean, how could you know that? All right. This further leans into my prediction. My guess is who Brock Berlin is. But I'll leave it at that. All right, scores. I saw some scores on my way back. Go back. Go back.
I seen CF Canes fan Fresh dropped some. Primetime Rambo dropped it.
CF Canes fan got 31-21.
B Harp at? I seen him earlier. Did he drop a score prediction?
Fresh 41-17. Primetime 34-17.
XY, yeah, you better drop them because once we're done, once we're done with our 3, we'll be picking one. So drop them in the chat. Score predictions.
That's right. Got to pick one.
Who's going to be a man to drop that 70-0 Canes?
There's B Hart 41-24. All right, because Bill forgot his paper. Bill, you go first. Do you need me to write this down, Bill, or can you write it down?
Yeah, you write it down.
Oh, God damn it. I lean forward.
Do I stand on business with my August prediction? Because I'm still kicking myself because I had the SMU one threw me off because everything told me to go SMU, but all right, I'll go 31-26 Miami.
31-26, you said?
31-26.
Ugly number.
Yeah, I think it'll be an ugly game.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 38-21.
Oh, Steve-O with a close one. Whoa.
Yeah, only win by 17.
You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go 45. 45-20.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go 45-20. And my crazy prediction, I'm not gonna give any specifics. I'm just gonna say they let it rip. Just let it hang out. That's my prediction. Go all out on offense. Just crazy stuff. Beck slinging it like all over the map. That's what.
Like we're a college offense.
Like an elite college. It's Steve-O. I like it, Steve-O. That's what I'm gonna do. We're not gonna pick. We're gonna pick Brock's. So I'm a little bit inspired by Brock Berlin's 45-31 like in 04, but we're gonna get after it. We're gonna get after it in this game. So I'm gonna go just look like a college offense.
That is a crazy prediction. So,
all right. Let's pick one. Let's pick a score from the chat before we move on.
I like. Damn, who was it?
It was CF Kane fan had. It was early.
Yeah, we had one. Fresh had one too. 41-17. Have we gone fresh this year?
I don't know if we have. I don't think we have.
We'll
just forgot the paper. We would know.
God damn it, Bill.
I said we go fresh. He a long time listener.
All right, fresh.
Mad love.
Got you, fresh. Jersey guy too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, Jersey commit. Jersey guy. We'll go with you guys.
41-17. All right, fresh. 41-17. We got you locked in.
You on the board, fam.
All right, now we just need crazy predictions.
I got one. I've been sitting on it all day.
XY. How did F can Miami score drop 40?
Be for real,
because they're gonna let it rip.
Because they're actually gonna try to like watch tape and stuff and like back throw the ball and
start dropping them crazy predictions. Start doing it.
Mine is on either a fumble or a tip six.
Whoever Keontae Scott's backup has an interception.
Keontae's backup INT. That's a good one.
Yeah, someone at slot corner is going to have INT next week or this week.
Mine is CJ Bailey will throw down the U, and on the next possession, he has a turnover.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're going to be actively tracking that. Actively tracking that.
It does seem like he might throw it down like several times. So like,
I really don't think he's going to throw it down to you. The kid is like super respectful, but I really don't think he's going to do it. But if it happens, I would love for Bill to be right. But personally, I don't think he'll do it.
It's going to be like whoever asked you, it's going to be one of those moments where you're going to be out there watching it, and then you're going to see them throw the U down, and then immediately like be laser locked in that next possession. Like,
yeah, I will be. I just don't think it. People might get him to hype him up to do it. I just don't think it. But it's not like I know him inside out. You know, if somebody tells him to, let's throw down this U together, he might. But that interception is coming.
He was gonna have his binoculars out, like watching for it. Even if he's on the sideline, come on, do it. Let me see him do it.
I mean, it got to be a tutty. I mean, you're not gonna throw down the U on a first down, like 4-yard run, yeah. Like, you better throw a touchdown pass or run one in.
All right, we always go back to the tape and watch it. I'm sure if he does it, it'll be on. It'll be
Obviously, yeah, I'll
TV,
be.
so.
I'll find it.
Stevo's film review, just watch it through. Like,
he's 6'6", bro. You're not gonna miss him. Dude, tall as hell.
all right, so recapping everything: Bill 31-26, me 45-20, Stevo 38-21, Fresh 41-17. Bill Bailey throws the U down the next possession, turnover. Me looks like a college offense. Stevo, Keontae's backup, or whoever is playing slot corner gets an interception, and Brock Berlin, his prediction that Beck throws 5 touchdowns like he did in 04. Which might be my favorite one all season long. I'm a simple man, guys. If there is another former player in the chat every week and their prediction is based off something they did 2 decades ago, I will probably pick them every week. I'll imagine Roscoe makes an appearance. Oh man, we'll give him the score prediction too.
He's going over
75-3. Anyway,
I think next week it'll be like a random Kane, like a Martin Bibla or something. I think someone like him's gonna make an appearance in the chat.
See, I would have predicted Quad Hill, but Brock Berlin earlier misspelled Quad Hill's name, so I was like, oh, maybe not it.
You never know. I forgot one of our shows where I was like, where we were talking about the most dominant player ever, and I was telling Brian, I was like Brian McKinney, and then he hit me up on Instagram. He posted the snippet on his story, and I was just like, "Damn, Brian McKinney, you were watching? Why you ain't comment, fam?" But he caught the air. He caught it off air. But yeah, you never know. Some of these old players might be like, you know what, I'm dropping it.
I mean, if I got any notion that there was a former player watching, like at any given time, I would probably just launch into full on like, let's talk about old Canes football mode, which I'm always on board to do, but don't have time for that.
We had Jarrell Mabry, right? At one point,
Jarrell Mabry was on the show.
Yeah.
Odell,
my boy Odell did on
here and
there.
there.
Yeah, Brian Moreau. We have a couple friends of the show. If you ask Chris, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Big time list. Loves the show. Can't comment because he's got deals with studios. He's got to keep himself low profile when it comes to social media stuff, but big time fan of the show. We have more Dwayne the Rock Johnsons watching the show than we have women that watch the show. That's
I mean, he always texts in our group chat too with feedback, so we appreciate that.
Toss in some stuff. Steve-O, did you said your girl have any notes for us? I know you said that she gives you feedback on the show. Anything?
Nah, my phone's been silent. We just hung a TV up. We just mounted a TV there, so I'm pretty sure she's busy. She's doing what she got to do. She's sitting out this week, most likely, or my phone will ring and be like, "I'm watching, babe," in a second or two. But it has yet, so no feedback just yet.
Steve, that's a bold voice to use for her when she might be watching the show. Like if I throw like here's my wife's voice out there, if she's anywhere in the vicinity, it's a very like light angelic voice. I saved
my girl from New York. Yeah.
My wife is from Staten Island, so I know it well. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But anyway, so but that'll do it for us. Let's get some final thoughts from people before we get out of here. Bill.
There's a hilarious comment down there, bro. That's a funny one, Rambo. That is hilarious, dog.
And like it was a couple weeks ago that Rambo did make some IBN comments. I like that he held on to it for a couple weeks too to get this.
That is hilarious, dog. My boy catching strays, dog.
That was a direct assault. That's not even a stray. That was like a targeted attack. I landed on Vienna. Bill, final thoughts of the people.
It's a big one. I had it circled. It's pretty much like a trap game for 6 months or so. We get it done. We'll probably continue to shoot up those rankings, and we can keep talking playoffs. Doesn't go our way. You thought last week's show was bad. It's going to get a lot worse around here. But I think we pull out a nail biter.
Yeah. Steve-O, final thoughts of the people.
Pat the Rock, it's last home game of the year, I believe. So let's see you out there. 3:30 is a great time for kickoff. Hopefully it's a little chilly still. It's been nice weather. So if it's 70s during the game, that's awesome. Get out there, tailgate, go ahead and drink your minds out like y'all do. And yeah, let's be safe, pack the rock. And I can't wait, man. I'm super excited every time you wake up and you have an opportunity to go to the stadium and watch the game, because once it's gone, it's gone. You're just watching on TV, or you're watching shows, or we're doing shows with content with no actual football. So absorb it, love it. Go Canes.
Yeah, we only got three more of these left that we know really, really matter. Hopefully it's not less if we lose one of them, and God forbid it's these three and then the Pinstripe Bowl again, because nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the Pinstripe Bowl this year. Like, I'd rather very much avoid it if we have all ability to do so. So how about we go win these games, and we'll discuss whatever happens after that. But anyway, that'll do it for us. Thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate you guys as always. Thank you to everyone over at CanesInSight for allowing us to do what we do on the show. We will see you guys again next week, right here, same time, same place, Relive Canes. Have a great week, everybody. Okay, win the game.
Championship for Nebraska. He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Irvin's got it. Irvin's free. Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, but he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big games.
Hard dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Husker up to the races. That's what they needed.
That's Ricks.